Hey everybody, another hot one down in Marana, Arizona. I'm back out here with this Boeing 777 again today. This is the one that we did the test flight on. And today we're actually going to ferry it. We're going to fly it up to Phoenix, fill it up with fuel, and then take it over to Abu Dhabi. From Phoenix to Abu Dhabi, it's a 16-hour flight. And for long haul flights, the Boeing 777-300ER is definitely the airplane. It's one of the longest range airplanes in the world. There's that Vueling Airlines A320 everybody was talking about in the last video. Everybody was saying, hey, what's that doing here? Well, Marana, Arizona, actually it's Pinal Air Park, is a place where airplanes come to be stored when they're not being used, when they're off lease. They're ferried over here. So this airplane was ferried over here. Probably took 3 or 4 stops to get here, but flight crew moved it along the way, got it here. They put it into storage. As you can see, it's all taped up. All the windows, engines, all the inlets. Keep the dust out. And it's in a storage program until somebody revives it, buys it, and it goes on to another airline. And as you can see, there's a lot of airplanes out here. A lot of them are in storage. A lot of them out there, although 747s will probably never leave. Those will end up being cut up at some point, turned into beer cans. I'll show you what happens to a lot of them out here once they're an older airplane, not really worth refurbishing, not worth putting back out on lease. They get cut up. And this is an area that they do the cut up. And this is an area that they do all the chopping up. Those big things, they almost look like dinosaurs. Got big claws on the front. They just start chopping the airplanes up. As you can see, this one, that one up on the blocks, the landing gear's been taken off of. They take all the valuable parts off, and then it ends up getting cut up like this airplane out in front of us. This big, beautiful airplane has got a lot of life left. All right, we're about ready to go here out of Marana to Phoenix. There's a lot of preparations that happens on these flights, logbook sign-offs, just last-minute things that happen. So we're running about an hour late right now. Gonna get up in Phoenix and get out of here. They're shutting the door now. What? Well, we're almost at the end of the runway. We're being towed out at about 3 miles an hour. All right, we made it to the end of the runway, but the tug down there, that vehicle that you see in front of us, has been pulling the airplane. It's overheated. It can't go anymore, so they're finding another one to come replace it and get us out onto the runway. We can't start engines here because of all the rocks and debris out here. Our engines are out overhanging that area. I can't see it from here. But we would suck that up and damage the engines, so we have to sit here and wait. And if it's not one thing, it's another.
Maintain 165. 55 feet, your discretion, calculate turbulence, 5 miles in travel, Boeing 737 for the right.
Clear to land, roll to the end. Landed at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. We got us parked out on a cargo ramp. We're going to get fuel here. Program the box and get underway for a 16-hour trip to Abu Dhabi. It's not any cooler here in Phoenix than it was Marana. Feels about 115 degrees out here on the ramp. Getting the fuel trucks lined up. Gonna put a lot of gas on this thing. You can give some perspective of how big these engines and how big this airplane is. Got this fuel truck sitting next to it. That's a big fuel truck. So we're getting fuel here in Phoenix. We've got 2 fuel trucks hooked up. Probably gonna take us an hour, hour and a half to fuel up. we've got to put 42,000 gallons on board this thing. Fuel is stored in the wings and also in a tank in between the wings. And if you think your car's expensive to fill up, try to fill up one of these. 42,000 gallons, and I think the fuel's about $4 a gallon here today. All right, catering showed up. I made a trip to Costco yesterday, got a bunch of stuff. Gonna take it and start loading it up.
So we got our passengers all buckled in. They all fit in boxes.
And for anybody that's just curious, do I got my M&Ms? Of course. I don't leave home without them, or I don't go airborne without them anyway.
We've even got backup M&Ms.
So we're still fueling in Phoenix, probably another hour before we take off. I'm gonna go ahead and send this video out, and I'll make the part 2 or the next part of the journey on the next video, which will be departing out of Phoenix, en route for the next 16 hours. I'll walk around and show some of the inside of the airplane again, and then our landing into Abu Dhabi. So if you want, follow along with us. We're OMD, that's nomadic. Our call sign is Oscar Mike Delta, OMD 120. OMD 120, if you put that in one of the apps like Flight Radar 24, you can follow us along on this journey.